Do you know that your dog is slowly turning into you? If you have ever felt that your dog just gets you, or noticed that people say the two of you look alike, there's actually real science behind it. Over time, dogs and their favorite person start to match each other in ways that go far beyond behavior. Some of these ways are visible, some happen deep inside the body where nobody can see. Here are 6 fascinating ways backed by real studies that dogs slowly become just like their favorite person. Number 6. They start looking like you. You have probably had someone tell you that you and your dog look alike. You may have laughed it off as a joke, but researchers have taken this seriously for over 20 years, and what they found is honestly a little strange. A 2025 systematic review published in the journal Personality and Individual Differences analyzed 15 separate studies on dog owner similarity. Across those studies, researchers gave participants photos of dog owners and separate photos of dogs, and asked them to match which dog belonged to which person. The results were consistent. Participants could accurately match dogs to their owners far more often than random chance would predict. One study even took it a step further. Researchers cropped the photos so that only the eye area of the owner and the eye area of the dog were visible. The rest of the face was hidden. Participants could still correctly match the pairs based on the eyes alone. That is remarkable, because the eyes are one of the smallest visible features, and yet they carried enough information for people to correctly pair a dog with their owner. The researchers offered several explanations. One is called the mere exposure effect, which describes how people tend to prefer things that look familiar to them. Another is the preference for self-similarity, which is why we are unconsciously drawn to dogs that share traits with us. There is also evidence of physical trait correlation, beyond just faces. The 2025 review noted that women often choose dogs whose hair or ear length matches their own hairstyle. Long-haired women tend to pick long-haired dogs. Women with shorter hair tend to gravitate toward dogs with shorter coats. It happens without anyone consciously making the choice. So if people keep saying you and your dog look alike, they are not making it up. The science backs them, and the moment you brought your dog home, that resemblance was probably already part of why you chose them. Number 5. They match your anxiety level. Have you noticed that when you are stressed, your dog seems more stressed too? Or when you are calm and steady, your dog is calm too? What you are noticing is not a coincidence, it is science. A 2019 study published in Nature Scientific Reports by researchers at Linköping University in Sweden looked at 58 dogs and their owners. Both were assessed for personality traits using standardized questionnaires, and researchers measured long-term cortisol levels in the hair of both dogs and humans. Cortisol is the hormone your body produces when you are under stress, and hair samples give researchers a picture of stress over months, not just moments. What they found was striking. When owners scored high on neuroticism, which is the personality trait linked to anxiety, mood instability, and emotional sensitivity, their dogs also showed elevated cortisol levels. In other words, anxious owners had anxious dogs. And this was not just the dog picking up on a bad week. This was long-term biological synchronization, measured across months. The researchers concluded that dogs, to a great extent, mirror the emotional state of their owners over time. This is a two-way influence, but the owner's personality has the stronger effect on the dog than the other way around. In simple terms, your emotional patterns shape your dog more than your dogs shape you. There is also an evolutionary explanation for this. Dogs were domesticated over thousands of years specifically because they were sensitive to human emotional cues. Their survival depended on reading humans correctly. What started as a survival trait has now become an intense emotional attunement that shapes their entire nervous system. If you have wondered whether your worry rubs off on your dog, the answer is yes, and it goes deeper than mood in the moment. It shapes their body chemistry over weeks and months. Number 4. They mirror your extraversion. You may have noticed that outgoing owners tend to have outgoing dogs, and quieter owners tend to have quieter dogs. That is not just coincidence either. The 2025 systematic review examined multiple studies on the Big 5 personality traits in both dogs and owners. Big 5 refers to the 5 broad personality dimensions used in psychology to describe human personality. Researchers found that 4 of the 5 human traits can also be identified in dogs. Extraversion, neuroticism, agreeableness, and openness to experience all show up in dogs the same way they do in humans. Only conscientiousness, the trait linked to being organized and detail-oriented, does not clearly appear in dogs. Of these 4, extraversion showed one of the strongest correlations between dog and owner. Extroverted owners tend to have dogs that are more social, more playful, and more energetic. Introverted owners tend to have dogs that are quieter, more reserved, and more content to spend calm moments alone. Researchers proposed a few reasons. The first is that people often choose dogs that reflect their own personality. An extroverted person is more likely to gravitate toward a lively puppy at a shelter or breeder, while a calmer person is more likely to pick a mellow one, but the correlation deepens over time. Even when the initial personalities are not perfectly matched, dogs and owners gradually align through daily life. Your energy shapes your dog's energy, and their energy shapes yours right back. There is also a behavioral feedback loop at play. Extroverted owners take their dogs to more social settings, which builds their dog's social confidence. Introverted owners provide more calm home time, which builds their dog's love for quiet. Over time, these daily choices reinforce whatever direction the dog was already leaning toward. So the way your dog acts at a party or a family gathering is not just about their personality, it is a reflection of how you have shaped their world. Number 3. They absorb your long-term stress. This one goes beyond mood or personality. It affects your dog's biology in a way most owners never realize. Going back to the Linkping University study, researchers found that cortisol levels of dogs and their owners were synchronized over time. They collected hair samples from 58 dogs and their humans and measured cortisol during summer and winter periods. What they found was the first documented evidence of long-term interspecies stress synchronization. When human cortisol was elevated over months, dog cortisol was elevated too. When human cortisol dropped, dog cortisol dropped with it. Dogs were tracking their owner's stress not in the moment, but across whole stretches of time. The researchers noted this pattern was especially strong in breeds selected for close cooperation with humans, like Border Collies and Shetland sheepdogs. Dogs that were bred over generations to work closely with people are particularly attuned to their humans on a physiological level. But even non-working breeds showed the same pattern to a smaller degree. Whether your dog is a golden retriever, a beagle, or a small companion breed, they are still tracking your stress in their body. The intensity may vary, but the mechanism is the same. What makes this finding especially remarkable is that most other stress research between species only looks at moment-to-moment reactions. 2 people yelling causes a dog to freeze. That is short-term stress. The Linkping study was the first to show that dogs and humans can synchronize stress across weeks and months, which is something never documented in any other cross-species relationship. What this means for you is that your dog is not just picking up on your bad day. They are absorbing your long-term emotional weight and carrying it in their own body. When life gets heavy for you, it gets heavy for them too. When things settle for you, they settle for your dog. Number 2. Their weight tends to match yours. This one might feel a little uncomfortable to hear, but the research is clear. The 2025 systematic review identified weight correlation as one of the significant patterns between dogs and their owners. Studies included in the review found that overweight owners were more likely to have overweight dogs, and owners at a healthy weight were more likely to have dogs at a healthy weight. This was not a small correlation. It appeared consistently across multiple studies. Researchers offered a few explanations. The first is that owners tend to feed their dogs based on their own eating patterns. If you are someone who snacks often, chances are your dog gets treats often. If you skip meals or eat sparingly, your dog eats sparingly too. The dog's meal schedule ends up being an extension of yours. The second explanation is exercise. Active owners walk their dogs more, play with them more, and take them on more outings. Sedentary owners do not. Over time, this shared activity level shapes both bodies in the same direction. There is also an emotional layer. Dogs pick up on their owner's mood, and stressed owners are more likely to overeat and more likely to overfeed their dogs. It becomes a shared coping pattern where both dog and owner are dealing with stress through food, though neither realizes it is happening. Even portion control gets influenced. Owners who tend to overserve themselves at meals often overserve their dogs. Owners who are careful about portions with their own food tend to be careful with their dog's food too. Your relationship with food shapes your dog's relationship with food in ways most people never think about. The takeaway is not to feel guilty. It is to notice how much of your dog's daily life is shaped by yours. And if you want your dog to be healthier, one of the most effective ways is to become healthier yourself. Your changes automatically become their changes. Number 1. Their personality slowly converges with yours. This is the biggest and most fascinating finding of all. Your dog is not just matching who you are today. They are slowly becoming a version of you. The 2025 systematic review calls this emotional convergence, and it refers to how close companions gradually align their emotional responses over time. This happens between humans in long-term relationships, and it also happens between dogs and their owners. Researchers found that dogs and their owners actually become more similar in personality the longer they live together. Researchers identified 2 main mechanisms. The first is co-regulation, where 2 beings continuously shape each other's emotional states through daily interaction. Every time you speak to your dog, look at them, react to something in front of them, or comfort them, you are teaching them how to react to the world, and they are shaping your responses in return. The second is reinforcement. Owners reward behaviors in dogs that match their own preferences, whether they realize it or not. Calm owners subtly encourage calm behavior. Playful owners subtly reward playfulness. Sensitive owners create environments that reinforce sensitivity in their dogs. Over years of this reinforcement, dogs become a living reflection of their favorite person. There is a third mechanism at play too. Research shows that people unconsciously adjust their own behavior to match their dog over time. Owners of very calm dogs often become calmer themselves. Owners of energetic dogs often become more active. So the convergence is not just about the dog changing. It is about both of you changing in the direction of each other. The researchers noted that this convergence is one of the reasons the bond between dogs and humans is so unusually strong compared to bonds between humans and any other species. Dogs are the only animals that reshape themselves over time to match the people they love. and the people love them enough to reshape themselves in return. So when someone tells you that you and your dog seem to be a matched pair, believe them. Science says they are right. And the reason is simple. Your dog has been slowly becoming you for as long as you have been together. And you have been slowly becoming them. So which one of these surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments and tell us if you see yourself in your dog. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.